much guns they got. Everyone's talking about how much they keep it real, and everyone's talking about how many niggas they kill. But I wanna know how everybody's a gangster. Where's the snitches at? Where's the bitches at? Where's the niggas that just can't take the pressure, man? Where's the set trippers, the fiends, and backstabbers? Cause I wanna know how everybody's a gangster. Wanna rhyme, we can get it on. Listen, but if you tryna shine, the nigga I'd advise throw some glitter on. This nigga wrong, heard the flow. Third for show, bite the hand that feeds you, deserve to choke. But shit, I ain't mad, we could burn the smoke. Shit, I'm cool, I bought a noose, you could learn the ropes. I'll show you how you be a everybody, every day. And blade the pump, they never gave a fuck about them anyway. Any day, you might see me with the link when it's out 3. Truthfully, I give a fuck what they thinking about me. I don't know y'all niggas from a hole in the wall. Shit stain all soaking the drawers. I came knocking for the gang, nigga, open the door. Pain stopping at your brain when I'm holding the fall. 3 holes in his head, you can ball with the ball. And I know that you know that I know that you ain't sure if I got my cash up, Mag Tucker, if I'm just vulnerable. The ladder's not likely, dog, and I don't mind showing you. Pine coning you, letting God get a hold of you, knowing that it's my time and I'm overdue. But everyone's talking about how much guns they got. Everyone's talking about how much they keep it real, and everyone's talking about how many niggas they kill. But I wanna know how everybody's a gangster. Where's the snitches at? Where's the bitches at? Where's the niggas that just can't take the pressure, man? Where's the set trippers, the fiends, and backstabbers? I'm just trying to know how everybody's.
PU double.
Ready?
Get him. Oh, PU double. Feel my pain.
Yeah.
Sick niggas. Get him.
Oh, sick. Yeah. Sick. Fuck.
Sick Jones.
Yes.
Motherfuckers have rest. It's in 3rd pound shit. PU double.
Ready?
Get him. Oh, PU double. Feel my pain.
Yeah.
Sick niggas. Get him.
Oh, sick. Yeah. Sick. Fuck.
Yeah, Jones.
Yes.
Motherfuckers have rest. It's in 3rd pound shit. What you got for the pound besides a hole in the pound? So while I'm breaking them down, at the same time holding it down, I'm built from 0 ground. Hollow head with hollow now. Fuck how they like us now, cause we never fucked around. To the end of life, putting it down. Dow Jones breaking bread with me now. You like the sound, but it's more like a stab. It's more like a stab, you calling it wow. Oh.
And I know you ready to ride, so let's ride, cause I'm ready. So long as it's about Shetty, I'm ready to rock steady. Niggas really ain't deadly and they really ain't ready. Got phonies under the scope and we ready to pop steady. In the name of God, brothers in 3rd pound. Live off the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round. I know these niggas heard round.
Honor amongst Steve and betrayals beyond greed. Ain't no love for a true G. Respect the karma and all G's. Still surviving the blow.
Salute, 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 salute. Welcome to Bangin' Aces Live and Direct Sport Commentary Live with your host, Bang. What's going on, everybody? You already know. It's today. I had to come on and talk about the biggest story in football sports, the biggest story of the weekend, the biggest story of the week so far, and more. The legendary sensation, the football royalty, Shedeur Sanders, number 2 on the Cleveland Browns. 3rd or 4th string quarterback? Can you say 3rd or 4th string quarterback getting taken 144 in the 5th round? 3 days of chaos, and the media refuses to take him out the regular box. This kid is a phenom, not just on the field, but off the field. He stays out of trouble. He talks a lot of trash, high in confidence, arrogance, a little bit, and a little more. Yes, Shedeur Sanders, salute. Welcome to the NFL. Welcome to the NFL. However, top 20 ranked in college, all his receivers going to the NFL. He fell, and he fell hard. Out the first round, out the second round, out the third round, out the fourth round. And hello, suddenly in the fifth round, hello, we got pay dirt. After $40 million, well, burned away in the bag, the NFL chose to use Shedeur Sanders as a prop, a generational, legendary prop. Shame on the NFL. Hurt the integrity of the draft. Hurt the integrity of the game. Because it makes you throw everything in question if you're a real fan. If you're a real fan, and you know right here on Banging Aces Live and Direct, we for the fans, by the fans. So, without further ado, hold on. Let me make sure things are right. Hold on, why is my presentation? There we go. So without further ado, we're going to talk about things that's being said. Things that's being said and done to Shedeur Sanders. And it got exposed. It hurt the integrity of the game, at least in my eyes, and maybe yours too. When you get over the illusions of reality, a lot of people would love you to believe that Shedeur Sanders is not that good. A lot of people will have you believe that this year's draft was not that good. A lot of people will have you believe that Sanders' arrogance is rare and never seen before. For the last half decade, the NFL draft has been carefully engineered and a spectacle of entertainment. It's rising, rating proof of formula that worked continuously, usually, but in 2025, something shifted. The league didn't evolve. It escalated. And it did so by placing one man at the center of the fire. Yes. Shedeur Sanders. This wasn't about talent evaluation or team building. It was about message sending. It became a performance, a stage. And Sanders was both the storyline and the scapegoat. A quarterback of elite pedigree, armed with NIL power, public charisma, and a surname that still echoes through the stadiums. Shedeur Sanders was supposed to rise, possibly be the number one draft pick. Arguably, should have been the number one draft pick. But Shedeur refused to interview with multiple teams. That was a mistake, in my opinion, by a fan. Because you got to sell yourself no matter who you are. And Cam Ward was selected first. No problem with that. Cam Ward had a good season. But keep in mind, Cam Ward is maturer. He's 25 years old. He wants to be known for just football. Shedeur wants to be a legend. He is a legacy player type beyond the game. And how could you expect anything less from him due to what his father has accomplished as a one-of-one player and individual in this world, this being his baby son? Why would you expect anything different? I don't understand. I'm so confused. I don't understand how you hurt your product that you marketed around to be a high draft pick, and you allow him, then you damage him. But you do that in your eyes, ownership, NFL. You do this in your eyes to level him off, to put him in his place, to show him he ain't running shit. Right? Well, we in a new day. We in a new day. And NFL, like college, is going to have to make an adjustment. These NIL kids ain't here for you to control them. How you used to control your player, you used to controlling your players. Your leverage, you losing some leverage. The leverage used to be the money. But they're making the money before they get there. They're starting businesses before they get there. They entrepreneurs. You got to negotiate with them and talk to them as men, not children, turning into men. It's insane. It's insane. And I'm noticing in the world today, this is what's going on. Everybody wants say. Everybody has an opinion today. Everybody has a camera. Everybody has a microphone. Everybody has a voice. So they're trying to quell the voices. There's gatekeeping going on everywhere. They want to be the only voices that project, that you see, that give the right to the other voices to project. It's going on in the music industry. It's going on in Hollywood. And now you see it's going on in the NFL. It's the way. Blacklisting and blackballing is the way. Low pay is the way. Minimum wage. Because you pay them more than minimum wage, then they may act like they own the place. Oh, man. So Shedeur, he was supposed to rise, but instead fell. Fell and fell hard as teams who played with him, continued to pass on him, who talked to him, continued to pass on him, including his self-proclaimed mentor, Tom Brady, including the Giants, including, what they try to say, there's black coaches in the game, and the black coach passed on him too. What if I told you the Cleveland Browns was the only team that was allowed to select him because he already stated formally that he didn't want to go there? So they had to take some leverage from him And he didn't never said he didn't want to go there. His father said he would pull a Manning. And the difference here is social media. The difference here is they have their own streaming show and they're live and they have a fan base, right? So the difference here is that. So instead, the NFL and owners chose to break them, or at least they tried to. And we used to call that buck breaking, but we're not gonna go there. That's how it gets into racial. But just in case, because they don't want to tell you that, Jamel Hill. This is how we get into buck breaking. Same way you were forced to leave ESPN because you wanted to be truthfully yourself. This man trying to come in to the corporation being truthfully himself. And you guys, the NFL did what they did, but you guys carry the narratives. You guys cover the stories. You guys cover the, what did you say? Put the rugs over the racial and disparities within the NFL, right? It's you guys that help do this. You know what I mean? I respect you, but tell the truth, man. The league's favorite camera cut was always to Shedeur and something he was doing. From the moment coverage began, the NFL production told you who the show was really about. The teases, the transitions, the ads, as you see on the screen. That was one of them, right? Who's there? Yeah. The social metrics, the promo packages. This wasn't just about Caleb Williams last year or Marvin Harrison not signing a naming rights thing last year. This was 3-day saga headlined by the quarterback from Colorado. None other than the superstar generational link that he is, the one that's going to bring fans to your stands and have TV commercial as the fourth string quarterback on your team, bring crazy pressure to your executive boxes. The one with Gatorade deals, knows how to carry himself in those corporate professions. The Heisman-level challenger from last year, he has a viral gene in his blood. He is a generational link from entertainment to sports and beyond. Hip hop. Y'all know this. Y'all don't like it because he's coming in with more gravitas than your Super Bowl winning quarterback this season, right? People ain't talking about Jalen Hurts. They talking about Shedeur Sanders since they won the Super Bowl. Since before they won the Super Bowl. Shedeur Sanders, plain as day, was the draft marketing strategy for 2 days. Viewership was up 40% on day 2 and day 3. So you can't say it was about Travis and Cam Ward. Salute to them for getting picked 1, 2, and Abdul Carter 3. Salute to the whole top 30. Because it wasn't about him falling out the first round. It was about where he was ranked. Y'all told us 39 touchdowns, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 9-1 touchdown to interception ratio. You can't make that up. So how could you ignore it? Oh, his ego. This kid had to be taught he wasn't running shit. Oh, man. The envy of the Sanders gravitas is crazy. It is obvious. It is, it's just, I can't even explain it. They not my family, but I feel like they are. There's no respect getting thrown their way. So, 5th round, 144th pick. That's where the league decided he belonged. Not in the first round, not in the second, not even in the third. A player with first round film, a global brand, potential to force into a humiliating slide that he may have caused himself. And as each pick came and went, the whispers became louder. He needed to be humbled. He's too confident. He's Deion's son. None of that was football. All of it was personal. All of it. The result? The most watched day 2 in recent history. Over 7.3 million tuned in on day 2. Up 40% from the previous year. Shedeur Sanders was the story, the suspense, the controversy, the content. But who does this kid think he is? He's not running shit. Seemed like he was running shit all weekend. And if you think they don't know, they know. So while you was capitalizing, making millions off that 7.3 for 3 days, y'all thought it was relevant enough and acceptable enough to take $40 million from this kid who worked for it through college. Now, y'all gonna get player management, time management in college. Y'all gonna get a bunch of this shit from the star players. Y'all gonna get so much rebellion, y'all don't even know what's coming. But besides all of that, when this kid is allowed to shine, because eventually he is gonna be allowed to shine, he's gonna come through. And when all the stuff starts with that, the gravitas only grows. Oh my God. I don't think y'all thought of this truly. Y'all joined the troll society and tried to troll him along with sending somebody to call him, because now they want me to believe that was 2 separate incidents. It happens all the time, right? But you send somebody to call him in between because you know he's live streaming his stuff, right? An NFL player's son suddenly got the number from a whole nother team and called him and told him the Saints was going to draft him at 40. And then at 40, he doesn't get drafted. They take somebody who was worse than him in their season. A good quarterback, but not better than Shedeur Sanders. So what was that about, bro? And Boomer Esiason already came out and confirmed that owner said take him off the board. So stop it. Stop asking for proof. Y'all know what it is. Tell the truth. That's all we asking. But you know what that's going to generate once the truth starts coming out? Fan bases start to shift. They got this boy more fans on draft weekend than anything. So if you wasn't a Shedeur fan, and if you are a Shedeur hater, you're watching Shedeur and you're tagging into Shedeur and they're buying his jersey from his website and they're doing all this stuff. So by trying to hurt him, you help build his gravitas, which only going to hurt the corporation in the long run. And he'll get that $40 million back. You never really get money back, but he'll get that back. Because it was only potential theory money. He never really had it. But doesn't mean they didn't take it from him. Doesn't mean he didn't forfeit some of it. So why the pockets? The ad dollars? Sanders lost more than draft status. He lost tens of millions in salary projections. A narrative was pushed, reputations were shaped, and other prospects, many deserving, including the number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 guys, didn't get talked about. They didn't get highlighted. They were devalued in proximity, and y'all gave it all to Sanders. The system didn't humble Shedeur. It compromised his own integrity of the process. Trying to punish him because he didn't, quote unquote, respect the process. The smear machine was in motion. It was obvious. First, it was a forgotten binder. That's what the Giants put out there. Then whispers of a bad interview. Then McShay floated concerns about preparation. I think this was day 2. It was day 1. It was late day 1 as he was falling. A prank call from the GM added to the chaos. From the GM of, a prank call from the son of a coach of Atlanta. We didn't know it at the time. We know it now. Called Shedeur and pranked him. Do it all. Shedeur remained calm. He remained graceful. And he stated, why I get mad? They want you to react a certain way. Sounds like leadership to me. He understood what was happening. The public did too. And every attempt to destabilize him only elevated his image. The more they pushed him down, the more fans rose to his defense. Don't beat Prime. That's the message, is to don't beat Prime. That was the him in the memo. Don't be too bold. Don't be too much brand. Don't walk into meetings like you already own it or made it. But how I was told is you always walk with your head on. You walk into a room like you own it. You believe you got a job before you get it. So I want to ask you, because this is the message I gave my children. Where's that message wrong? All you media guys, I'm asking all of you to answer that. Love it all. Don't be third string quarterback with commercials before you in the rookie minicamp. That's hate. That's envy. That's the true discomfort that the NFL is going to be faced with. Shedeur didn't fit the mold. He was never supposed to be marketable at pick 144. Never supposed to be bigger than his depth chart. The machine couldn't control him, so it tried to label him arrogant, entitled, and overrated, which they're still running with today. He's not that good, they say. Oh, how many of you think a 9-to-1 interception ratio with a sucky offensive line is bullcrap? How many of you think that all his wide receivers making it to the NFL was a mistake. Included in the top 2, maybe the best player in NCAA history. How many of you? Colorado had 9 players in the NFL this year. 6 were drafted. Coach Prime producing pros. But watching his son become the league's primetime scapegoat sparked a deeper truth. A lie doesn't care who tells it. The truth wins in the end. Quote unquote Shedeur Sanders. What happens when Shedeur becomes Cleveland's best quarterback option by October? What happens when the crowd chants his name? When a starter sputter? What happens when the fans and players start questioning the system? Not the prospect. Because this wasn't football logic. This was fear. Masked as strategy. Sabotage is not strategy. And now the Browns, a franchise known for questionable quarterback decisions, have inherited a cultural powder keg. If they fail to support Shedeur properly, the fallout won't be isolated. It'll be national news. It'll be generational news. It'll be prime-time global news. The league made a choice, and the world watched. You cannot sell culture and simultaneously punish it. You cannot build an event around Shedeur Sanders, profit from his pain, and call it just business. You cannot weaponize humility and still expect loyalty from the next generation of talent. This wasn't a fall. It was a warning shot. It was a designed self-shot in the foot for the NFL. Still struggling with the power it can't define. The power doesn't ask permission. The power doesn't apologize. The power doesn't conform, but the culture doesn't forget. And Shedeur, he didn't fall. He was framed. He was the story of the weekend. Face on every screen, name in every group chat, and fire behind every click. Legendary. Not by luck, but by force. Salute, salute, salute. That's Bob Engelson Sports. And this is Banging Aces Live and Direct Sport Commentary. And we talking about Shedeur Sanders. And that is how I feel about it. A lot of people don't see the big and broad picture on this draft and how they hurt this young man. But it's okay. Because legacy players is just the beginning. And look at everybody. Oh, he just needs to put the draft behind him and just go in there ready to work. Never mind that he's the 5th on the roster, right? Like it's just insane. Did they put Danny Dimes through that? Did they put any of these guys through that? Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, did they put them guys through this? No. But it's because those guys kiss. And I ain't talking about the lips. You understand what I'm saying? They paint nails and all of that. That sensitivity, that femininity, that alpha male thing is leaving football. It's becoming more transcentric, for shortness of words. You know what I mean? Like, it's becoming more universal. You understand what I'm saying? It's crazy, though. It's crazy. Ratings rose, but something broke. Something broke. And I think that's the misjudgment of the culture and the people. They want to say, "Oh, this is not a revolutionary player, this is not that. Everything you said he's not, I think you're undermining. A smear machine, the whispers came fast and sloppy. A misbinder, a shaky interview with Brian Dayball. Tommy Shea concerns about all his preparation, but all I see is preparation and hard work from the young man. So I just think it's cracking nonsense. Then came the brain call, someone pretending to be an NFL GM, trolling Sanders, and I believe that corporate media is moving into that trolling society too much. There's millions of dollars in the trolling, and it's corny, man. It's corny. But I believe he was built to handle it, like his father said. Like he said, why get mad? They want you to react. And they did, but he didn't. And that composure made a smear campaign even louder. The league didn't get his rage, so it tried to manufacture his downfall. When they're trying to control the evil black man quotes, trying to provoke that, it didn't never come out, and he was good. God-fearing man. It revealed they fear ultimately don't be prime, though. That was the quiet directive pass from war room to war room. Don't be too branded. Don't be bigger than the shield. Don't walk in a room like you already arrived. And certainly don't do it with your father, Coach Prime, in your corner. Redefining what leadership looks like. This was about Shedeur. This was about power, the new kind of earned on platform, not just playbooks, the kind that doesn't ask for permission, the kind that the league doesn't yet know how to handle. Shedeur had pick 144. Oh, God number 9 became a scapegoat for a system that still doesn't have the language or the comfort to embrace cultural equity in quarterback position. I think that's a flat. Colorado sent 9 players to the NFL, 6 were drafted. I believe they got others signing up and trying to make teams. So good luck to them. Salute to everybody that made the draft. This wasn't about shitting on Dylan Gabriel. This is about the NFL and they ploy to devalue their future product, to level him off so that they could control how much shine he has at any given time. And that shit is corny. Corny. And it was all because of this day right here. How he was talking on this day right here. But it's corny, but it's real. And what we're going to watch next is my boy Chris. I felt mad about what he said, but listen to what he says. I'm going to add that to the stage. This is how people feel about him. I see the obnoxiousness in Chris Carter here, but we still got to let him say what he got to say, right? So let's listen to this.
Not entertaining. All right. So what happened with Shedeur Sanders?
Well, a number of things happened. The number one thing that didn't happen was there was not a collusion message with the NFL owners.
Okay. What?
Cap. Boomer Esiason came out 2 days ago and said owners told their teams to take them off the board. That was a together movement. And I think the Browns was the only team that could take them. At least before a certain round. You know what I mean? Because he didn't want to go there. And if they really wanted him, and I'm about to show you why I feel that way, because when they took him, They wasn't excited to take him. It was like they were told to take him, and they knew that was going to add some static to their quarterback room. They knew it right then. But that was cap what Chris Carter just said.
Okay, a lot of people think that.
Because they wouldn't be able to keep a secret like that.
Cap.
And
so they might do it, but they couldn't shut up about it.
This is
they
what
wouldn't be able to shut up about it. But every owner is very, very selfish. Now, why would I do something to my detriment? Like if I need a quarterback and I think this kid is it, what he didn't realize is the guys that have fallen in the draft before, they all had unusual traits. Like they had some superstar qualities to them. Now, some other things happened that made them fall, but Shedeur and his family, they overplayed their hand. Them thinking.
That's the key consensus. They wanted to teach the family about overplaying their hand. And it was all about not liking the decisions that they were going to be faced with making. And they know that they're bold enough to make those choices. But let's go. I'll continue on.
That he was in the same evaluation mode as Eli Manning. They didn't play that right. Them trying to narrow the teams that he was going to go to, that didn't do right. Not working out the combine, that wasn't the right thing. His interview process, obviously he could have done a lot better in that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people left that meeting, felt he was very, very entitled.
I agree with all of that. The Shedeur, as a quarterback and a leader, I understand what your dad did, but as a quarterback and a leader, you needed to take on all comers, bro. You needed to interview with everybody. With the entitlement thing, here we go.
Which meet? Like, because they said Brian DeBall, Giants coach, had said he didn't like the meeting. He asked him, he had some book, was his playbook or something he was supposed to know, and he said he felt weird about it. I don't know who else said they didn't like the meeting with him. Or was just people behind the scenes saying they did?
Well, the thing about it, they didn't draft him.
I know that.
So it's not the tape.
Okay. Because the tape's good enough to get drafted early enough.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, his tape is good enough for him to be a first rounder. But there's a number of things. It's not one thing. Last year when Deion interviewed for the Dallas Cowboys job, that did not help Shedeur. Now, it helped Deion get a new contract in Colorado, but long-term it didn't help Shedeur because the Giants, they're coached in their last year, general manager in their last year. If they struggle, the Giants potentially, an option would be look at Deion as the head coach. So why would I draft a kid? Like, they missed out on that. Like, they obviously, they didn't think this all the way through. And I think there were a number of teams that had that in the back of their mind, and they don't believe his talent is generational.
So that's the key. That's the key right there. They don't believe he has generational talent, and they have the right to think like that. But I think that all you had to do was watch this kid, right? In the games. He didn't have offensive line. He didn't have running game. So in order to win games, he had to throw down the field. He had Travis Hunter. In order to get Travis to be a Heisman Trophy winner, he had to throw down the field. He had Jimmy Horn Jr. In order for those guys to get drafted, he had to throw down the field with no offensive line and no running game. Now, does he have a lot of screens? He only have 94 sacks in 2 years, y'all. 94. And still got those numbers. That means he's throwing down the field, y'all. Oh, no, his running back is not getting taken. So the screen plays, that's the running back, right? So if this running back was getting all this yardage for Shedeur Sanders, the running back will be highly coveted for the draft, right? His receivers are getting drafted. His receivers are getting yardage. His receivers got the Heisman. Shedeur was on the Heisman list. He was a candidate. Over Cam. Cam was on that list, though. But it's just, he's on that list, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, y'all wilding to say he's not a generational talent. And he may not be a generational talent. But I'll tell you what he is. He's a generational link for multiple industries. He's going to sell tickets. He's going to sell jerseys. He's going to sell for the NFL. So that part right there, hands down, he's already selling. So you can't say he's not going to sell. He's already got corporate sponsorships. He already got corporate partnerships. So you can't say you don't understand the business. So what I would say was, where is the nepotism? Where is the royalty nepotism going for the Sanders family? Like, really, where is it? Like, it's not in the conversation. It's not in the treatment. It's not in nothing. Because this guy he don't need you to come to boost him up. He got it on his own. And I don't understand what the problem is with that. It's most people, that means he's one-on-one maybe. Like, the gravitas, man. And what is gravitas? The gravity of the player. He's going to be your fourth-string quarterback or third-string quarterback with heavy gravity, TV commercials, people in the stands booing. Like, what are y'all thinking? Y'all better be trading him to a team. Y'all better be doing this for value purposes. Because y'all don't think y'all really thinking this out. I don't think y'all paying attention to what's going on right now. It's the gravity. The conversation already starts already talking about going to the game. Oh, like Taylor Swift. I think Taylor Swift going to the game for her man was something. When this man's gonna have all kind of people, basketball stars, football stars, actresses, musicians, all in the stands screaming, Shedeur, put Shedeur in, put Shedeur in. Like, yo, they're gonna have corporate boxes full. Like, yeah, I don't understand what y'all thinking here. Why would y'all shoot him? Why would y'all shoot him? Why did y'all make him an enemy? Why would y'all? He should have been treated as football royalty, bro. Insane. And they continuing the conversation. It's continuing. Listen.
They do believe that guys are more athletic and guys have bigger arms. And they do believe he's been coddled. He's been coached by Deion his whole life. And there's been benefits to that, but this is the first time it's been a detriment.
So his tape, because he had last season, 4,000 yards, 37 touchdowns,
37.
NCAA leading 74% completion rate,
74.
Then he said, in his line, was the offensive line good?
Offensive line was no good.
Okay,
wide
no
receivers,
good.
No good.
3 wide receivers drafted in the NFL.
Yeah, but offensive line,
no good.
I'm getting to him. So you talk about him holding the ball too much. Sometimes people are coming to hit you, and you don't want to throw it to the other team. Is that not fair enough?
Yeah, let me talk football though.
Yeah,
there's a reason why a lot of dudes hold on to the ball too, is because the coverage has not revealed where the ball, and their anticipation is not as good as some of the other guys.
So sometimes he ate the balls because he couldn't pick up the coverage prior to, and the defense outsmarted him.
Yes, and he likes guys to be a little more open before he lets it go, and he doesn't have a big time arm. He's not a big guy.
Listen, obvious is the obvious. He may not have an Aaron Rodgers arm. He may not have a big-time arm. But what that's telling me, over 4,000 yards, all your receivers drafted, that's telling me he works better. He's even better because he doesn't need an explosive arm to make the magic happen. He doesn't need an explosive arm to make the magic happen. You understand what I'm saying? I think that's telling me he's better. And this kid is only 23 years old, just entering the NFL, about to train with the NFL people. He's about to get stronger, bigger, better. He's about to learn the whole stuff. Like, this is what he dreamed of doing. His father didn't play quarterback, man. He wanted to play quarterback. The position that they said black guys ain't supposed to be able to play at a high IQ level. But out goes the Wonderlick, and then comes the generational, can you play football? They're really comparing my boy to Tim Tebow. That's where they're comparing his gravitas to. Tim Tebow. So when you say that name, you automatically think Tim Tebow couldn't throw the ball. He can't throw the ball. He's not a generational talent at all. The ball threw for 37 touchdowns. 9-to-1 touchdown ratio. What was Dylan Gabriel's? What was Cam Ward's? I'm telling you people, man. It's like so agitating because you could tell these people didn't watch Shedeur. You could tell these people just looked at a few clips from different games and pick their pros and cons of what they wanted to see and kept it moving.
He's not overly athletic. Mm-hmm. So his measurables are not.
Do you want your videos to look like this?
Wait a second. He's not overly athletic, so I'm not going to act like he's overly athletic, right? He's not overly athletic, so I'm not going to act like that. But the man knows when to run. And if he runs for multiple touchdowns this year, they're going to feel so crazy. They said the same thing about Bowman.
It's legendary, like he's already calling himself legendary. All those things are problems. And once the teams that weren't looking at starters, the makeup of a backup in the NFL is totally different.
That I understand. I understand that he's probably not going to be
the backup in the NFL. He doesn't have a media team following him. He doesn't have cameras following him. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have all these social media, all these things that they're doing.
But you wouldn't let that happen, right? The team wouldn't let that happen if you drove your back quarterback.
Yeah, by him stating that, he's hinting to the things that people dislike, but also to the things he disliked, right? That's okay. You documenting your journey to the NFL. Now, when you get to the NFL is taking the documentation. When I need video for it, I'm going to get it from them, right? I can start my footage when I leave. I can start when I leave the game. I can start going to the game. You're not stopping nothing. The camera's still going to be rolling, bro. Is that phone not a camera? T.O. was scoring touchdowns, grabbing popcorns. They was grabbing phones out of their socks, Ocho Cinco, all kind of shit. Like, let's not act like all this shit is new. And like that shit didn't lead to all this new shit. He has a brand that says legendary already. That's a problem. Why is that a problem? That's how a legacy player thinks. Why is that a problem? Oh, because he was supposed to be given that. You're supposed to be given something. Things ain't true unless somebody give it to you. I'm sorry, brother. That's controlled slavery thinking. Like, you know, that's controlled petty thinking. Like, you know what I mean? Like, free men don't think like that. They ain't looking to be given anything but an opportunity. That's crazy that people think like that. Oh, that's
right.
a problem.
Wouldn't the team just say, you're not doing all this shit?
The team doesn't have the right to do that. The team would give you advice to say that I think you should concentrate on learning the playbook and being an NFL player, but they can't mandate what you do in your downtime.
I mean, I just think for me, like I'm listening to him, and I listen. He fell. Did he fall a lot further than you thought he would fall?
Yes. I mean, bro, he probably. I mean, the contract situation, the signing bonus or lack of signing bonus,
the amount of money
that he missed out on. I mean, you're talking about top 5 pick. You're talking about $30 to $40 million. And then it sets you up for that next contract. They set you up for that option year. But right now, he's working check to check, man. Like, he's not going to get a big signing bonus. There's not going to be a big guarantee.
All done on purpose. That's how they wanted to balance his legendary mind state, his legacy player mind state. Now it's going to come down to opportunities and reps. And are you really truly trying to give him the true reps to actually do his thing? Or is he just going to out there hit a home run for every 3 passes he got? Oh, he's got to prove the power in his arm to do that, because now I'm only calling you I'm only going to run certain plays. And I might run some running plays for some of those reps, just so you could get accustomed to the run game, the heavy run game we about to run this year. Y'all not slick, man. Y'all try to pull the wool over fans' eyes all the time. And like we not smart, like we go for everything y'all say and do, and we don't, man. There's smart fans out here. There's football coaches out here. There's all kind of stuff out here, bro. People respect the game. There's wide receivers that got hurt, never made it. There's quarterbacks that got hurt, never made it. Running backs, linebackers. That don't mean they don't know the game. They don't know dickhead coaches. They don't know GM sabotage. That don't mean they don't know ownership sabotage. That don't mean they can't suspect the NFL for colluding after they've been known to collude. They settled with Cap because they colluded. Bottom line. No ifs, ands, or maybes about it. They took away from Cap's movement when they did it. So it was smart to settle with him. Then they spent years building on their integrity, only to revert back to the matter of control. And it's the control of a black kid. And that's what makes it racial. But it shouldn't be racial. It's just business, and it's the power of money and greed and marketing and control. I'm just pissed off at that you dared to sell him as the story, the major marketing pieces, and you got the response that the marketing is supposed to bring. You bring his fan base with him, his platform, his stardom. They want to say he's only a three-star level guy. But he's proven he's a 5-star. And he hasn't even thrown a football in the NFL yet. And what do you think 5-star, the chaos that comes with a 5-star, you can't control that. You're not going to be able to control that. And the stronger he gets, the more monetarily confident he gets, the more he's going to be convinced he's doing the right thing. And y'all going to become more and more deaf to him. Like, so why wouldn't you then embrace it and work with him and show him where he's making his mistakes at and get him to buy back in? Why make it a court versus a brand thing? Why do that? Why sell that he's not that good of a talent. Why sell that? Even if he ain't, how does that help you?
Guarantee. Any day they want to get rid of him in the week, they can get rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really tough when they draft someone at your position because only one quarterback plays. It's not like
they're gonna lock him up. They ain't gonna just get rid of him. Like they're gonna lock him up.
And then in the third round, they drafted Dylan Gabriel.
Under that pin. Like they're gonna lock him up and keep him under that pin. Like, what? You acting up? We could cut you tomorrow. Like, in the minute he be like, I don't give a fuck, that they gonna cut him. But that's gonna hurt him. And that's gonna make everybody right about him. And it's gonna scare future teams until that guy comes. But I don't understand how y'all think this man who's making better men, y'all drafted those men, y'all signed those men. You know they're gonna be great football players. He's made them great football players and better men. Y'all would treat his kid this way. And think that is going to work out in longevity. Like, oh, man. It's crazy. Now, Shedeur can't play. He come and throwing mad interception. That'll be right up their alley. It gets them, sends them down that road. And they can say, told you wasn't that good. And the media is going to tear him apart. And I just pray he stay healthy this season and gets a shot to show what he can do.
Better than Shedeur. He's a better. I'm asking. He's a better.
Well, I'm just going to tell you right now, they're slotted. Draft picks are lane assignments.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got lane 3. Shedeur drafted in lane round 6 is in lane 8 or lane 1. He's either run out by the fence by the kids, or he's running in lane 1 where he's got to run that long turn.
Yeah.
That's the way the game is,
got a lot
man.
of work to do.
And it's hard to get to your second contract when you're working check to check.
That's right.
All right, so here are the quarterbacks they're going to have in the quarterback room. Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur. Who's going to play? Who's going to start?
Once you try a comfort.
You hear that, man? You hear that? Dylan, that's 5 dudes. 5 dudes. They paid Deshaun $231. They gonna keep him as long as they got to. My thing, he's still facing the Achilles, and that can hurt him to come. I don't think he's coming back this early this season, so they might sign him onto the injured reserve list, and he's done for the year. Then you got Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur. Now, Dylan Gabriel, Big Ten Player of the Year, coming in after Bo Nix, put up some big numbers. A good dude, like, is he not Shedeur? No, he wasn't. Shedeur was the Big 12 Player of the Year. That's not by accident. That's not by accident, bro. You play their competition, you destroy them, you play good. That's not by accident. I don't care what y'all tell me. You know what I mean? I done seen Shedeur play against Caleb. I done seen him play against Knicks. I done seen him play against a couple of people already. You know what I mean? They play against a lot. Like, he don't play against the Alabamas and and that's fine. But you play your teams, and you play it. You either good or bad. A 9-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, everybody's looking for that. A 74% accuracy, everybody's looking for that. But not everybody could do that. Joe Burrow didn't do that, and he had a superb team over there. You understand what I'm saying? So when you say he doesn't have an explosive arm, his brain, IQ, let's talk about that. Does he have that for a quarterback? They say he taps the ball before he throws it. That's a tell. I want to see if that hurts him. You know what I mean? We're going to see. We gonna see. It's just all this stuff that's being said. I just can't go for it sometimes, bro. Like, can't go for this shit sometimes. I respect what Carter's saying though, because he's a player and he knows what this is about. And I'm sure he talked to people in the back and said a bunch of things, but he got his own bias.
Shedeur or Kenny Pickett are going to start.
I would agree with that.
I think they're going to keep Joe Flacco around just long enough to give him some seasoning.
Yeah.
But I think they're going to be in an unusual quarterback situation because they're going to have to keep 2 rookies.
Yeah.
They're going to have to keep Dillon, and they're going to have to keep.
So why pick Shedeur after you pick Dillon?
Because value. Like when you're trying to put your roster together and there's a kid that you can get for a 6th-round investment and put him in your locker room, and you were thinking about potentially drafting him.
No, I get why I took Shedeur. That was, I think I was sitting there waiting. Why wouldn't somebody else grab him anyway? Why take Gabriel?
Right.
I mean, you think
the best talent on
he was a better pick for them over Shedeur at that time?
Man, something happened with the Browns between day 2 and day 3. Okay, because with Shedeur available, and it's not like, okay, I'm prone to get a lefty, which Dillon is a lefty compared to Shedeur. The kid's got the most starts in the history of college football, Gabriel. And then Shedeur still on the book that they can pick him up. But something had to change in their philosophy because they could have got Shedeur with the 3rd-round pick. Something changed between ownership, management, the general manager. Something changed between day 2 and day 3.
What bothers me the most about the measurables is this kid ain't been on trouble.
Right? I'll show y'all. We're going to go to the Boomer Esiason one, too. Since I showed the Carter shit. Let me take that off. Move that. That. Screen. Oh. True. Screen. This, I wanted to show this, so I don't think that I'm capping when I say this. Who benefited most from Shedeur's lasting until the 5th round of the NFL draft? The NFL television rights holding partners. The third day 3 NFL coverage across ESPN, NFL Network, and ABC, ESPN, Deportes, and digital channels averaged 4.3 million viewers based on Fast National from Nielsen. That is the most watched day 3 on record and up more than 40% over the last year's final day. Sanders, being the 144th player selected, kept viewers interested far longer than it normally would have at those numbers. And how do they know it was Sanders? Because immediately after he's picked, those views declined. And everything started being talked about right then. So I've been really doing my research on all of that, and I just wanted to show y'all that I don't just be making this shit up. Let's remove that. That screen. That share screen. That's the other thing I wanted to show y'all. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, I know it's been a long weekend. We're going to take you off the work here, all right, brother?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Hey, listen, you got to come in, you got to work hard, you got to earn your job, earn your keys. And it doesn't matter where you're taking, it matters what you do from this point forward, all right? Talented.
Look at the energy.
Let's get ready to go to work and improve what we do past the week. All right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right? I got a coach here right now.
Yo, what's up, coach?
Good to see you, man.
Yes, sir. I'm excited to see you.
Remember, I told you the Lord works in mysterious ways, right?
No, for sure.
It's an opportunity, and we're going to get to work together, okay, buddy?
Beautiful thing. It's a
Humble.
beautiful thing.
Humble. Nice kid. Nice kid. But you see the energy in there. You see how it was. It was docile, like.
We're gonna take you off the board here, all right, brother?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Hey, listen, you gotta come in, you gotta work.
That was because Mel Kiper was on TV at that same moment, going crazy. Let's look at Mel Kiper. When Mel Kiper started talking, all of a sudden, he got taken. He said NFL doesn't know how to evaluate quarterbacks. Let's go. Let's watch Mel Kiper.
Obviously, the overwhelming story was Shedeur Sanders and an unprecedented slide for the quarterback into the 5th round. I promise we are not going to spend the entire podcast talking about that, but we will begin there. Field, I was with Mel for the first 2 nights. I've not had a chance to talk to you. What was your reaction to the story of this draft?
Yeah, lesson learned for me, Greeny. And let's talk about the quarterback evaluation. More so than any other position, perhaps, in team sports, there is the on-field evaluation, and there is the other bucket, which I'm going to call loosely intangibles, but it encompasses a lot of things. The NFL told us that the on-field front, they don't think Shedeur Sanders is as good as Mel and I do. I had him 16th on my final big board. I believe Mel had him 4th overall. Maybe it was 5th, somewhere in that top 5. The second part of it is perhaps the more important part here, Greeny. The NFL told us that the intangibles and everything that comes along with Shedeur Sanders were simply not good enough, whether it was specific to the pre-draft process or during the entirety of his 4-year college career. It is the perhaps confidence, perhaps in the...
Okay. Right there. Let's stop that right there. Dude got the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, 74 completions last season, first in the FBS, Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year award. He definitely was more than a 5th round pick. And that's something we know. And with Boomer saying what he said, let's play that right now. Yo, Jalen Monroe slid out the 1st round. Nobody talked about that. A lot of these players got overlooked because of the Shedeur Sanders story. Ewers fell to the 7th round.
.75% completion percentage.
Oh, he
a
had
lot of touchdowns.
College football is completely different.
I know it is.
Than the NFL.
I know, but I do think there's something about him that I think would excite a fan base and lend hope to a fan base that's been longing for another guy since Eli got old.
You know, he dominated at the HBCU that he played at, and I would say, yeah, he played much above average at Colorado.
He played great at Colorado.
What was your
75% completion percentage?
Oh, he
a
had
lot of touchdowns.
College football is completely different.
I know it
than
is.
the
I
NFL.
know, but
Gotta look for the actual quote. Look for the actual statement because I don't make things up. On one side, son. Here we go.
They took him off. And they took him off because the owner said, take him off. I don't want that guy. Shedeur Sanders just torpedoed himself.
There you go.
His attitude off the field at the combine. His dad didn't help him either. You know, he was on podcast talking about, this is my son. If I can get him to where I want to get him to, I'm going to do that.
Social
But,
media.
you know, when you listen to this kid talk,
Put your business on social media.
about if you want a new culture in your locker room, I'm the guy to do that. I can turn it around.
Dennis didn't have social media.
He's very high on himself. And I think he was very off-putting to many coaches and general managers in the league. And I'm telling you right now, and I know this after talking to 3 different personnel people in the NFL this weekend, they didn't even have him on their board. They took him off. And they took him off because the owner said, take him off. I don't want that guy.
Take him off.
I don't want this entitled person on our team. And I don't blame them.
They
took him off. And they took him off because the owner said, take him off.
I'm saying,
I don't want that guy. Shedeur Sanders just torpedoed him.
High because of his talent. And they keep trying to downplay his talent. And that's what I'm getting mad at. You can't make those numbers up. And you heard the other guy say he played great at Colorado. Yeah, he played above average. Boomer Esiason, a quarterback, ex-NFL quarterback. You know what I mean? So I didn't make that up. And once you say that, you kind of give credence to the collusion. It doesn't matter if the collusion was coach to coach, owner to owner, NFL to owner to NFL. It doesn't matter. Collusion is either or those things. Like, they want you to believe, like, the whole NFL came together. No, that probably didn't happen. Or maybe it did. But it gives credence to it. Owner to owner saying, you taking them. It was 5 teams that needed quarterbacks. Let me tell y'all, 13 quarterbacks got taken. It wasn't a big quarterback draft. 13 quarterbacks got taken. 13. Those didn't go to 5 teams. So there was a lot of teams that were looking for quarterbacks, backup quarterback situations, maybe future. Maybe they got, like for Baker Mayfield's been in Tampa balling. But he's been here for a couple of years now, and he keeps coming up short in the same round, you know what I mean, losing some big games. Like, you know what I mean? So what's his rope looking like? You understand what I'm saying? They got heck of receivers over there. They just went and got Shiloh and all that. So, but what's his rope looking like? I think he got a 2-year window, maybe. And it's a 2-year window to win, not just hang around. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So, there's teams that need backups, man. What if Baker go down? Get hurt, God forbid. Who's going to take that team and keep that team relevant? Atlanta is bigger and better in that division. So, you know, that's what I'm talking about. Like, there was 13 teams that ended up taking quarterbacks off the board this draft weekend. So when they tell you the draft was weaker than normal, no, because you can take Shedeur out of that draft, and it's still a decent draft, bro. There's a lot of great candidates in that draft. A lot of great running backs came out of this draft. Those stories got quelled underneath the Shedeur Sanders story that NFL decided to sell you. But in the same token, they're going to say he's not that big of a deal. Come on, man. It don't make no sense. It's sabotaging your own product. I don't understand that. I don't understand it for the Cleveland Browns or the NFL. And all these people not talking about it. You capitalized, you marketed around him, you capitalized off his story, but you took money from him, and now you're going to tell me he has to earn what he already earned, right? So, and you're going to make him play for it, or you're going to cut him, or all of that's going to go on. The reps are not going to be there, all of that. I believe Shedeur can make the starting lineup to this team if he's given a fair opportunity to do so. But another part of me feels like Cleveland Browns don't really want Shedeur. They proved that to you on draft night. They did draft him. They don't really want Shedeur. And it makes me question, does the NFL want Shedeur to be successful? Again, he's coming in with more gravitas than your Super Bowl winning quarterback. Jalen Hurts, who? We haven't even talked about him. Who's that? He's only your Super Bowl winning quarterback. You talked about Colorado and more than we talked about the Eagles. How'd the Eagles do in the draft? Super Bowl contenders. According to everybody got an A and a B for their draft selections. So that's telling you that the draft was full of talent. But they ain't do their due diligence on everybody in that draft, so they only wanted to talk about the big names. So that's where Mel Kiper comes in his importance. That's where Todd McShay comes in their importance. But don't believe they not in with the good old boys club. And when they start talking, good old boys club, listen. Because they proven people. Welcome to Bang USA Sports at Banging Aces Live and Direct. I'm your host, Bang Usa. And today we're talking about Shedeur Sanders. And we're breaking down these videos of Shedeur Sanders. Everybody's critique and criticism of him. The allure of Shedeur Sanders speaks for itself. Could he have shot himself in the foot? We obviously got drafted in the 5th round, so we know he shot himself in the foot. But was it supposed to be that bad, right? Those are the other guys. The Saints, oh man, the Saints. No Derek Carr, y'all under the window. Y'all better hope Ratliff is ready. It's taking show over. Taking show over Sanders was a mistake. And good luck to Kellen Moore and them, you know what I mean? But I think Ratliff probably going to be better. That's a high draft pick they took last year. That's a draft pick they took last year. It was supposed to do something. They went back this year and got another guy going to have them two competing with each other. Ratliff going to blow them out. Ratliff wasn't bad. He just wasn't ready. In the games he played, I seen him play against Denver. That's a hard team to come in as a rookie and play against. So, you know what I mean? Games he played, I don't know. It turns racial. I'll tell you how it turns racial. It turns racial because you're not going to treat Andrew Luck. Y'all didn't treat Andrew Luck this way. Y'all didn't treat Manning this way. It's not about being as good as the Manning kid. It's about being an ex-NFL Hall of Famer and this being my kid. Archie was not a Hall of Famer. You understand what I'm saying? And people still got his kid out there with reverence. Now, Peyton was in the game then. Peyton was in the game, so you kind of had more to go off of. But, dude, the disrespect and the disdain allows and the trolling of Shedeur, the corporate trolling of Shedeur that happened, it allows the rest of the world to kind of attack Shedeur in that manner, like he's not that good. They're selling the narrative like he doesn't have a great arm, though he's had the best accuracy in college over some of your superstar quarterbacks in the game, top fives in the game today. Maybe even your GOAT having a better college career than your NFL GOAT. The narrative being set on him is not good. People are not talking about Gabriel Daniels this way. People are not talking about Show this way. People are not talking about any of these guys that came out before him this way. So why are you talking about him this way? Those guys are supposed to be better than him. Why are they talking about them? Why they got a low profile? Like, no. Let's hold them all. The pressure is up on all those guys. even the backup quarterbacks on those other teams, the pressure is up because the guys that went before him and the guys that went, 13 quarterbacks got taken. Cam Ward, the pressure is up on you, bro. And I like Cam Ward. But again, I said he was 2 years older than Shedeur. He's a little maturer than Shedeur. Okay? And that's not a problem. Shedeur is maturing as he goes. Like, you know what I mean? He's only 23 years old, bro. Like, calm down. Look what he's accomplished by 23. Like, remarkable. And instead of talking about the black excellence that he is, that Cam Ward is, that Abdul Carter is, that Travis Hunter is, we're going to just sit here and talk about Shedeur Sanders and him not being so good and him, he deserved to be dropped and his entitlement and all of that shit. Oh, Baker was a dog. Baker was a dog. That's why he could get away with the stuff he got away with. Are you serious? Manziel was a dog. That's why he got away with the stuff. That sound like excuses to me. That sound like favoritism and biases to me. So I just want y'all to know that they exist. Shedeur and Dion been hitting to this for the last 3 years. When Dion does his post conference, he's been hitting at those questions and at those. And why would you ask him? And Shedeur retired his jersey in college, and Travis retired their jersey in college. I'm sure that has a lot of people rubbed wrong. But let's be honest about that. Let's say I don't like him because he retired this. Do like Chris Carter said, I don't like him because he already got a legendary brand. That's a problem. He's calling himself legendary. That's a problem. He hasn't did nothing. And y'all gonna make sure he gonna continue to make it hard for him to do something until he start winning. Oh man, it's so sad. Salute, salute, salute. Make sure you hit that like, share, subscribe. I'm gonna probably end it here because we'll do another one. We'll do another show later. Similar topic. But I just want to, I'll be watching these guys on these shows.
Eyes of NFL teams perceived as arrogance that Shedeur Sanders maybe would bring to the table. Those are things that no one said specifically. But let's make no mistake about it. The NFL is willing to make concessions on players at times if they can play. But when you go to the 5th round as a quarterback, it's telling us that we don't have a belief strongly enough in you as a player, and also that we have concerns about what happens once we draft you and all of the stuff that we have to deal with going forward. I know that it's a difficult subject to broach in some ways, but the stone cold facts are 143 players, including 5 quarterback screening, went ahead of Shedeur Sanders. The NFL did not send a subtle message. They sent a very loud and pronounced message to all of us, not on Thursday or Friday, but Saturday afternoon.
5 QBs went before Shedeur, who was battling for top 3. And everybody keeps saying top 3. To be honest, he was battling for top 1. But again, I don't think Shedeur wanted to go to the Titans, so I don't think his interview went good with the Titans. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So that's what I mean by him shooting himself in the foot. But Shedeur was okay with dropping. Just dropping that far. We know that wasn't supposed to happen, like he said on first day, and it's going to happen, and it did. You know what I mean? And I really, let's see what Mel Kiper say before I end this show. Greenies on.
I think the team that ended up with Shedeur would find a Shedeur that is all into that team. I think Shedeur just wanted, hey, you have faith in me, you have belief in me. Who's going to have that faith, that belief? And in the draft process until draft day and your pick, you really don't know. So, Cam Ward got that assurance from Tennessee. Early on, you're our guy. Shedeur wanted it. The NFL said didn't give him any of that. So as far as Shedeur goes, we talk about intangibles. We talk about off the field issues. None of that. So what are the intangibles? Confident or cocky? Arrogant or charismatic? Swag, right? You want swag, right? Or arrogance. A quarterback that feels that he's the best, you want. Tom Brady had it. Tom Brady told Robert Kraft that when he met him, hey, you're our 6th-round pick, right? He said, yeah, you're the best decision your organization. I'm the best decision your organization ever made. That's what you want. You know? And maybe that's shit. Maybe they realize that, hey, these teams all passed on me. The Raiders took Cam Miller out of North Dakota State in the 6th round. Obviously didn't have an interest in Shedeur, right? You think about what teams have done. New Orleans took Tyler Shuck, right? So again, Dylan Gabriel went in the 3rd round. He went in the 5th to the same team. That's happened before. Kirk Cousins, the 4th, when RG3 was the 2nd pick in the draft, right? Heath Schuler went in the top 5. Gus Frerotte went in the 7th round. Worked out pretty good for Gus Frerotte. Better than Heath Schuler. Cousins, better than RG3.
There we go. There go all the quarterbacks that went before Shedeur right there. That's all the quarterbacks that went before Shedeur right there. Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, I wasn't mad at that. Because I told everybody I didn't expect the Maras to go for a black quarterback. Though he signed his first 2 black quarterbacks this year, Russell Wilson and Winston, who was a 1st-round draft pick, can show you how to manage media. But this is New York. Winston just getting to New York. He don't know New York media, and he better try to stay his butt out of trouble. But the Maras have a thing. They look for the great white hope all the time. That's their thing. You know, I really hope that Eli Manning is on record for looking for an investment group to invest into the Giants. I salute the Maras if that's true. If they're allowing that to happen, allowing Eli to buy into the team. But what that's telling me, if Eli's buying into the team, rather Eli buy into the team or not, they're going to shoot for Archie to come there. So I have to ask yourself, how long is the rope with Jackson Dart? You understand what I'm saying? That's why I didn't want Shedeur to go there anyway. So I was okay with that. I just was questioning if they was going to take Jalen Monroe at 2, but they took Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart has an arm, but he's not better than Shedeur. So, in my opinion, I watch Shedeur. You know what I mean? Jackson Dart is okay, but he's not better than Shedeur. So they got their great white hope for the year. But let's hope. I hope who took Danny Dimes, who we call Danny Pennies, who is Jones, right? Daniel Jones. We call him Danny Pennies here on Banging Aces. Danny Dimes got picked by who was the GM at the time? I forget his name. It wasn't shown. But Danny Pennies got picked for him, and he ended up getting a contract that year. You know what I mean? Tyler Show, 40th pick. That was the pick that Shedeur got pranked on. Jalen Monroe came out 92. So he came out. Jalen Monroe is not better than Shedeur, but he did go to a bowl game, I believe, right? So I'm sorry. Dylan Gabriel, not better than Shedeur, but I believe he went further this year than Shedeur. So they're good quarterbacks. So, but they all three, four of these guys should not went before Shedeur. The fact that they did, I don't have a problem with. I think Shedeur should have went in the 3rd round for one of these picks right here. And I think one of these picks should have been the Saints pick. They were stupid for that. But again, that's Saints business. Like, that's how they do business. You know what I mean? I think Jalen Monroe, they should have took Jalen Monroe, or they should have took Dylan Gabriel. And Shedeur should have definitely went to if Shedeur, he's not gonna go to Seattle. Should have went to the Saints. Cleveland Brown wanted Shedeur from the beginning, and they should have took him from the beginning. from the beginning. At that number 5 spot, they should have took him. And they should have had parameters put into what they wanted, right? But you heard Chris Carter. When you take a guy that early, you're taking everything that he does and is about. Let's finish this. Mel Kiper.
Troy Aikman was there. They still went for Steve Walsh in the supplemental draft Dallas did with Jimmy Johnson. So in terms of Shedeur is going to be coming in, and all the talk about what went on in the pre-draft. You want a guy prepped for an interview or being organic. You want him to be real and be who he is. Yeah. If you want all that field, if you want to be all buttoned up and prepped, then go get another quarterback. And I think they did. They spoke. I agree. They spoke. Okay. But he didn't have to go to the CFL or the UFL like I was thinking during the draft, and maybe he's going to have to go that route to prove he can play maybe at that level before the NFL is going to give him a chance. He's going to get a chance with the Cleveland Browns. So because of that, I give it an A+ grade too. Okay.
So he gave an A+ to the Cleveland Browns. I did not. They ended up getting Shedeur. They should have had him from the beginning. I think they could have did other things. They didn't go get a wide receiver. They trying to go with these veteran wide receivers, and they already proved they wasn't that good, bro. Cedric Tillman was the big highlight last year, and he didn't shine until Jameis Winston stepped on that field. Judy didn't shine until Jameis Winston stepped on that field. You know what I mean? So, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is and what it ain't. I'm your host, Bengals, man. This was the fall and the fire. Shedeur Sanders in the draft that shocked the system. No nepotism, no favoritism, no respect, no from the NFL for the HOF royalty. And I want to know why. You tell me why. You tell me in the chat why. I want to know why. It just, you know, the heavy marketing, the story of the weekend, all of that, does that matter to you? Does it matter to you that none of these other guys got talked about, got highlighted for the greatness that they are behind the Shedeur Sanders story, led by the NFL and designed by the NFL owners? Sound like collusion to me, man. Sound like collusion to me. Till next time, I'm your host, Bang, and we're going to stay on this Shedeur Sanders. Oh, yeah. Salute. Bang!
So far, force for the 49ers defense.
Salute. Welcome to Bengals saying bang.
So if anyone in your family has
bang
Medicaid or
moment
shit,
coming to you.
check the mail for your renewal.
Live for Bengals Sports and Banging Aces live and direct. We're gonna give you the back door
so you don't lose
bang.
coverage.
Hold on.
If you do lose your coverage, visit healthcare.gov to see if you're eligible to enroll in a low-cost, quality health plan. Healthcare.gov.
Wow, you guys did great with that.
Hello. Welcome to Bengals Sports. Live and direct with your boy Bengusa. And today we got to talk about the elephant in the room, the biggest content draw of the weekend, the biggest lore, the biggest jerk, the biggest bias, the biggest elephant, monster, boogeyman, the biggest story of the week. And y'all already know what that is. It's the NFL draft and Shedeur Sanders. Yeah. Y'all not gonna like me today. Salute to Shedeur Sanders and Shiloh Sanders and Deion Sanders and the Sanders family for getting to the NFL through the adversity, through the hurdles, Unnecessary. NFL royalty shouldn't be treated like this. NFL royalty should be honored. They are the law. They are the draw. They are the generational link. They should be treated like royalty and ushered in, especially if they're ranked in the top 20. But egos and entitlement get faced off with more egos and hypocrisy. Yeah, let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Will Shedeur be the Browns starter week 1?
Yes, he's the most talented quarterback in that room. Look, I am at the bottom of the first, top of the second. Ironically, I compared him to Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins had a great career in Minnesota with offensive coordinator Kevin Stefanski, now the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Whatever happened in the draft to me is ancient history. The Shedeur Sanders on Saturday night should have been calling the skilled players of the Cleveland Browns saying, hey, here I come, and start developing a relationship. If I'm the Browns, I either keep Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett as my veteran guy. I took Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round, who's a nice player, not a lot of upside, but I really need to know what I have in Shedeur Sanders because next year I have 2 first-round picks.
Only Big Ten player of the year.
I can get a massive haul for those picks with all those other quarterbacks that are available. So if I'm Shedeur, whatever happened, happened.
Wait. Mike Tannenbaum, GM of the Jets. I'm a Jet fan. He was my GM. And I have a lot of disgruntledness with Mike Tannenbaum. But with that said, he is a good GM. He does have forevision and he does have sight. He needs to get a damn job and get off of TV. Because this is the problem I have with Mike Tannenbaum. You see how he just said, Dylan Gabriel, a very good player, like a decent player. He basically tried to shun him off. But they didn't take him in the 3rd round and shun him off. Okay? So, let y'all tell it. Shedeur ain't that good. And they're banking on Shedeur not being that good. They're not banking on Shedeur showing up ready to work, running up and down mountains, got his own training team, pushing himself. They're not counting on the legacy player that he is. Hence why he started his legendary brand already. Like his dad, as a rookie, started his own brand. They're mad at him because of this. This is great business. This is great entrepreneurship. This is great leadership in itself. But back to Mike Tannenbaum. Dylan Gabriel was a Big Ten player of the year. No question about it. Coming in behind Bo Nix, who had a great career in college and had a great year last year. And he comes into Oregon behind Bo Nix and takes those numbers. He's a leader. He got taken in the 3rd round for a reason. They're banking on Dylan Gabriel beating out Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders might even get cut because of Dylan Gabriel. Right? So Mike Tannenbaum needs to address that with a little more respect. They're trying to make you overlook that, and don't overlook that. All right? Now, is Dylan Gabriel better than Shedeur? No. Not in my opinion. Not in stat-wise, college career-wise, athletic-wise. But don't sleep on the kid. The kid got an arm. He knows football. Big 10 player of the year. Shedeur is Big 12. All right? Player of the year. So if you're going to respect, give him the respect. Got to give Shedeur the respect. And vice versa. Respect these guys. They did their thing in their division. I don't have no disdain to a Dylan Gabriel. This quarterback frenzy and chaos that's going to become this year's story for the Cleveland Browns. It's self-made. It's self-made. A good problem to have. But the way they seeing it, not recognizing the generational link and the good player that Shedeur is, the pressure that's going to put on a Dylan Gabriel, the pressure that's going to put on Kenny Pickett is going to be intense. The pressure that's going to put on the GM and the coach, Stefanski, who I think is a good quarterback coach. So it's a good problem to have. The thing is, it's not enough reps for all these guys. And that's not being talked about enough. It has been said, but not talked about enough. I think the Speak, Acho and them was the only ones to highlight how practices broke down through tiers and lines. And today, we're about to hear Stephen A., who I'm very shocked at. But it could be because Coach Prime is his boy, and he's speaking on the obvious. He spoke on Shedeur's unrecognizable drop. They waited one too many rounds. After they took Dylan Gabriel in the third, they couldn't let the whole fourth round go by and not take Shedeur. But they did. Then they let the fifth round go by, and I believe the Cleveland Browns didn't even want Shedeur, or else they would have took him, right, earlier. I believe ownership is tired of the GM QB debacle that's been in Cleveland for the last 3 years, and it's been in Cleveland for a long time because they took Baker Mayfield, decided to trade him, and Baker balling for Tampa. You understand what I'm saying? So they're not patient. They don't develop their quarterbacks enough. This is hence the reason why Dion was hinting to not wanting to go to the Browns this year. They have a good wide receiver core right now. Jameis has fun with them, so you know they could do some things. They got their defense right. They signed a defensive player. They signed 2 running backs. The running core is going to be crazy in Cleveland. That's different. So that's going to tell me that the offense is going to be ran differently. But as a quarterback, with 2 new rookie quarterbacks, they're going to have a heavy run game, right? You talk about the AFC North here. They got to pay 2 of the best top 5 quarterbacks twice a year. Shedeur is drooling for something like that, but you got to have a team for that, right? I don't think they want to. I think Cleveland is going to make this easy. They overthought it. They took 2 running backs, 2 quarterbacks. And that could work out if that's what you have. But now you got Kenny Pickett there. So I want to see what they're going to do with Kenny Pickett. Nobody's going to trade for Kenny Pickett. That's a backup quarterback. They'd rather trade for one of those young boys, Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders. But how could Cleveland get away with that? Trading the future, and then the future go ball out and become the stuff. That's a GM's job right there. So Barry got his work cut out for him. I think they're going to try to cut Shedeur. They showing, I don't know what they're going to do. He come back from the injury. They probably send him home so you don't put that pressure in that locker room. Quite frankly, I would try to get rid of Pickett. They paid him, though, so they ain't getting rid of him. Get rid of Flacco. Great person to have to teach these young guys. Flacco in the locker room, right? But you got to give these guys their reps, sink or swim. And with Flacco in there, they're going to be tempted to start Flacco because he's the veteran. And you talking about the AFC North. Let's get back to it.
their lessons learned, and just move forward. And when you look at the skill players that they have, Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku, they added Harold Fannin, who two good running backs, Quinshon Judkins, and Dylan Sampson. You look at some of these other guys that have done well, be it Jaden Daniels last year, CJ Stroud 2 years ago. I think Shedeur is set up for success at Cleveland.
I think you're wrong, Mike T. I think you're wrong, and I think somebody like you will understand the issue where I'm coming from when I say this. I don't think the day one starter or the week one starter for the NFL season for the Cleveland Browns, as it pertains to Shedeur Sanders specifically, is going to be determined by just his play. I think all the stuff that has been said, all the stuff that has been reported, as erroneous as it may be in the eyes of a lot of people, including myself, as cruel as it might be in the eyes of people like myself in terms of what happened to him, I think that you had people looking to give him a reality check. And now I think what you're going to do is see people wanting to
I'm proud of you, Stephen A.
It's all happening too fast.
I'm proud of Stephen A. right now. He called it out. He called it as he see it because he knows what's coming. Shedeur ain't gonna be able to start and have a nice look. They're gonna make it hard. They're gonna get the minimum opportunities as possible because they don't want to look like fools. And Shedeur gonna make them look like fools. You know why? Because it's gravitas. The gravitas. Y'all undermining his gravitas. Y'all trying to take some away. Y'all spiting your nose to cut your face, Cleveland Browns.
We were talking, Dom, about how Dylan Gabriel was their preferred quarterback, Big Ten Player of the Year, that kind of thing.
Preferred.
I don't know how, because he wasn't Shedeur Sanders, but nevertheless, they were looking at it. You look at Flacco, he's a fan favorite. They loved him in Cleveland. They never wanted him to leave after the job he did for them a couple of years ago when Deshaun Watson went down, and he came in and did his thing, okay? And then you're looking at Kenny Pickett. Now, I know that Kenny Pickett is a former Steeler. Then he went to Philadelphia. He's got a Super Bowl championship as a backup. We get all that part. But in his last 17 starts, his record is like 13-4. And so when you look at it